Hello and welcome to Watch Maxie's Watch Videos. My name is Axel and I'm glad to have you on the show. Today I'm going to present you a Sinn, and it's my Sinn 910 SRS. SRS stands for Start to Stop, a watch which is quite uncommon and yet very typical for Sinn, and I bought it for a very special personal reason, and I'm so glad I have it. It's a Sinn which I thought about for quite a time, and I couldn't really make up my mind if I wanted to have the anniversary version with the split-second chronograph or the SRS with the flyback chronograph. And when I was at Sinn, there was a third watch which was in the race, and that was the Rennstopper 500. But this was the first watch who was denied and rejected by myself, since I'm not a 24mm strap guy, particularly not on the clasp side. The crown was a bit fiddly, and so a couple of things which was too much compromise for me. So there were only the anniversary with the split-second chronograph and the SRS with the flyback chronograph in the race. And at the end I decided to go for the SRS flyback, since I don't like the fourth pusher, the fourth nip on the 8 o'clock position with the split-second chronograph. And at the end, the flyback is, although the anniversary is a limited edition to 300 pieces, the flyback for me seems to be not so often seen in the market compared to the other one. So I went for the flyback. The flyback, the SRS Stop Retour Start, retails currently at a price tag of €3,990 on a steel bracelet and €3,700 on a leather bracelet or a rubber strap. Whereas I have to say, a rubber strap is something I would never ever put on that watch. With a diameter of 41.5mm, it is an average sized watch for Sinn. The lug width is 22mm and the watch is 15.5mm thick. The lug to lug span, and I mean lug to lug the horns, not the bracelet, is measured by hand 47.4mm. On the front side as well as on the back side we have a sapphire crystal, and the sapphire crystal allows a really nice view to the modified Value 7750 flyback. Really nice watch. During the video I'm going to explain the flyback mechanism a bit more in detail. Before that, I would like to show you how this watch sits on my 17cm or 6 3/4 of an inch wrist. Currently I have the Finelink bracelet on the watch, and this is how it was delivered, but I'm going to play around with straps a little bit over the next couple of days. It is a big watch on my wrist, but it still feels very comfortable, and I really do like the watch and think it is a watch which I can well wear and really fits to my wrist and to my collection alike. Yeah, I think the 910 series, both the anniversary as well as the SRS, are very typical, nevertheless kind of disruptive Sinn watches. There are not so many Sinn watches with a white or off-white dial, and if so, they are more on the dressier side and not on the side of the sports watches. As far as I can say, this is the only sports watch with the white or off-white dial in the Sinn portfolio, and this makes the watch really stand out. Having said that, it is easily to be identified as a Sinn watch. It is a toolish watch, but it is a kind of finer toolish watch. The indices are pitch black and applied, the Sinn logo is applied, and the hands are black as well, without any luminous power at all. Here you can see the black vintage leather strap with the red contrast stitching. It makes the watch even more sportier than it already is. On the pushers we have a kind of sunburst satinized pattern. The back side gives a view on the really nice decorated movement and the column wheel, which you can see here at the 12 o'clock position. Geneva stripes on the rotor, blued screws, water resistant up to 100 meter. We have specially shaped pushers, and the crown mirrors that design. There is no tube. It's a D2 system, which means direct double waterproof. The pushers and the crown directly interface with the case, so there is no special tube in between. Absolutely nice. It allows the watch to be waterproof immediately. We have a satinized case side. We have a polished side of the top ring, and the top side of the top ring is satinized again, so really nice play of light with that watch. There are two things which I would like to show you a bit more in detail, one of which is the flyback mechanism, and the other is the double scale to measure units per hour. And let's come to that. First we start with the chronograph function. Pushing the pusher at the 2 o'clock position starts the chronograph. Pushing again stops the chronograph, and pushing at the 4 o'clock position resets the chronograph. That's a typical Valjoux 7750 function. The flyback or stop, retour and start is a special function. If you push the 4 o'clock pusher while the stop second is running, the stop second immediately jumps back to the 12 o'clock position, and when you release the pusher, the time stopping immediately starts again. So this is a one pusher function to measure repeated repetitions of the same process with just one push action. That's the flyback mechanism. A split second allows to measure two different times, but that's not the case here. What you can see is we have an inner gray scale to measure units per hour. If it takes 60 seconds, which means you drive 1 kilometer per minute, you drive 60 kilometer per hour. But if it takes longer than a minute, usually the unit per hour scale ends and you can't do that. Sinn added a second scale in red on the outer ring. So if a measurement takes longer than 1 minute, you still can read or estimate the units per hour by using the red outer scale. If you are distracted for a moment and you don't know exactly how long it took, 15 seconds or a minute and 15 seconds or a minute and 30 seconds, the watch helps you to identify which scale to use. The 1 minute indicator on the stop second counter is kept a little bit bolder and is kept in red, and this corresponds to the red color of the auto scale. So if the minute counter jumps to the 1 minute position, it jumps to a red index, and you know you have to read now the outer red scale. It's actually not a big thing, but I like those small things. I called Sinn since I didn't find this in the manual and they didn't know it by heart, and we had a 10 minutes discussion, talked about corresponding colors, the functionality of Sinn watches, and during this call it became clear what this red minute means and what the function is, and since then I really do love it. It's as I said, it's not a big thing, but it's something which I enjoy, and once identified, I really love it. The Finelink bracelet, which you can see here, in my eyes is a perfect bracelet for hotter summer days if you're exposed to sweat and heat and humid air. Absolutely nice. You can clean it easily under the water tap, and no issues with any kind of dirt, whatever it is. The leather strap, in particular the black vintage leather, has a very, very strong leather smell, and I noticed today when I slightly sweat on the arm, the black vintage leather straps tends to share the black color with my arm, which is something I don't like too much. So during the summer and the hot days, I most probably will switch back to the Finelink bracelet, and in a minute or a minute and a half I'm going to show you another strap which I think perfectly suits the watch. Yeah, that's the typical and yet disruptive Sinn. It's a watch which really stands out in the Sinn portfolio, and so it does in my collection. I'm really, really proud to have it. I really love it. And what I now want to do is to show you another strap. I think all straps with a medium brown color, whiskey, brandy, honey, all these medium brown variants perfectly suit the watch. Here we have the Finelink bracelet again. You've seen this on my wrist and in various shots already. And you have also seen a footage with the black vintage leather strap with the red contrast stitching, which makes the watch much sportier. And another option, and this is how Sinn advertises the watch in their catalog and on other occasions, is the medium brown horse leather strap. It's a strap which I think could be my choice for winter or other occasions where it may be a little bit sporty, doesn't need to be too formal. This is something which I think perfectly suits the watch. I ordered another strap from Mice Berlin in a similar color with off-white contrast stitching. Unfortunately, I haven't received it yet. Maybe I show it in a later video. I'm totally curious to read what you think about the watch. Is it a good addition to the Sinn portfolio? Would you like to have it in your collection irrespective of the price? Just share your thoughts in your comments. Stay safe, look forward to my next videos, and till then, cheers, Axel.